What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the rePORTER Show. I'm your host, JP, and as always, I got my co-host with me. I got Dev on my left. I got Tuck on my right. Now, before we get into this show, though, I did want to say something. I know I get on here a lot, and I talk like I'm on Undisputed or I'm on First Take. You know. Sometimes I get a little reckless, and I can admit that. Now, that's cool and all. But I also know that this show represents Wayland, and it needs to be uplifting. So, I can admit that sometimes I get on here, and I shoot from the hip with no filtered thoughts. So, that's on me. I can admit when I'm wrong on that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the show. Cue the music. Gotta. Y'all know who that is?
Come on, man.
Tell that man to come on the show.
Come on, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That man, 2025 men's wrestling SAC champion, 285, 21-4 on the year, ranked 21st in the nation.
Come on, man.
Emmett Bivens.
Let's do it.
Thank you for taking the time to be on the show with us today, my boy. As you know, with the great introduction there, the man won the SAC championship at his weight class, 285, and he's been doing good things all year. So Emmett, I wanted to be able to talk to you today, man, about your year as a whole and just, and then of course we're gonna get to the point where we talk about the men's wrestling team winning the first SAC champion here at school. Talk to me about the year, man.
So coming into the year, I was coming from JUCO, and I was questioning, whether I wanted to continue wrestling. I had to have that conversation. That conversation sucks, but I did. But I got in contact with my old coach, Jared Crane. I got to talk to Strider Davis, got to talk to some of the people coming over here, and I was like, okay, I can see myself coming over here. So right from there, I came for one thing. I came for business. And,
I hear you, man. You, I guess it's easy to say I expected to win, but at the end of the day, the honest question is, what were your expectations going into the year?
My expectations was I want to get to nationals, but not just that. I wanted to. A goal was build a community and to build a team, and hopefully with our championship, that's the one piece that we are the building block to get to that. So it's a nice thing to experience.
That's good, man. And speaking of the team aspect, y'all have won the first championship here at Wayland, and y'all have, I believe, went undefeated in conference and head-to-head duels. Did you? Was it Oklahoma City you won? Texas Wesleyan you won?
No, I didn't. I didn't get to wrestle Texas Wesleyan. I hurt my foot.
I got you. But as a team, did we beat Texas?
Oh,
Wesleyan?
we beat them.
Yeah. Okay.
Matter.
So we.
Come on. Yeah.
So we handled business. Were there any surprising points in the year? I mean, y'all are 13-2 on the year as a team in team duels.
When it comes to the team, no, there are people that the team they put in effort. Any way possible. There are people who sacrifice things on the team that no one gets to see, and it's one of the things that sucks about the sport, but is also an amazing thing for the person.
Yeah, I got you. And the last thing I want to ask you, man, as a champion now of the conference, you're about to go into nationals now. What are some of the things that you can think about in your accomplishments and what you're proud about this season for yourself and for the team as a whole?
I'm just proud to getting to this point where I'm at nationals. This is what you've been working for the whole entire season, for the team, the guys. I'm so happy for them, including the girls. And that's the thing about Wayland and just wrestling. You're able to find like-minded people, and you're able to build with them, and that's what I love. And one of the things that was my favorite thing was wrestling Tarleton.
Yeah.
We're down, and John, it was me, Malachi, and John coming after that. It was just being. It was intoxicating. So I can't even put it into words, but it was just an intoxicating feeling just to be in this community.
Yeah,
That's real.
That's good, man. That's good, man. Well, I wanted to say congrats to you, man, on your championship this year, and I know that the job ain't done.
Oh,
the job's not finished.
So I hope that
Job's not finished.
y'all that y'all can go to nationals
Yeah.
and continue to do what you do. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us
It's
today,
a
man.
pleasure, and God be the glory.
Hey,
Yes, sir. Yes,
real
sir.
talk, man. Real
Yes,
talk,
sir.
man. Hey, good luck, man. Good luck to you.
Let's kick this one off with men's wrestling since we finished off with Emmett there. Some new rankings came out. They're the final rankings of the regular season, of course. At 149, Alex Pena was ranked 10th in the nation. He dropped down to 12th in the nation. At 197, John Bray was ranked 20th in the nation. He dropped down to 22nd in the nation. And then at 285, champ, Emmett Bivens was ranked 24th in the nation. He has now moved up to 21st in the nation. Of course, our team duels record, I've already spoke on it, with 13-2 on the year, with 3 top 25 wins and 1 D1 win. So going into this conference championship, we had a lot of good. Honestly, I mean, you probably went they probably went into this tournament with boosted heads. Honestly, they probably went into the tournament like, ain't nobody out here gonna beat us.
Facts.
And we handled our business. We had 8 guys that placed in the top 3. 8 guys. At 141, Nathaniel Ruiz went 3-1 over the course of the tournament. He won by pin in his first match, lost the next one though to a 24th ranked wrestler in the nation at his weight class by decision 5-3. So a tight match. He lost that match in the semifinals. So then he would go on to compete for 3rd place. He won his next 2 matches by pin and tech fall 18-2 to place 3rd overall. At 149, 12th ranked in the nation, Alex Pena went 2-1. He won the first match by pin, the next one by decision 5-3, and then he lost his final match, which was the championship match, to the 5th ranked wrestler in the nation in overtime.
Wow.
4-1. So in overtime for wrestling, it's sort of like a sudden death. It's basically whoever scores first gets the win. So it's a really tight way to lose, but that's just how it is. So he ended up losing, like I said, in overtime, and he placed 2nd overall. At 157, Josh Camilo, I believe. I've been saying it wrong all year, so I'm sorry about that, bro. I don't know why I put the yo on it. I feel like 2 L's to me is a Y, but that's in Spanish though, so maybe that's not, you know what I'm saying. He Camilo, not Camillo. So I'm sorry on that, my boy. Josh Camilo, he went 4-1 over the tournament. He won by decision 10-3, and then tech fall 15-0 before losing in the semifinals by major decision, which then of course sent him to compete for 3rd place. He went on to win his next 2 matches by pin to place 3rd. At 165, Junan went 3-1 over the course of the tournament as well. Lost his first match, so a rough way to start it, but then he won his next 3 by major decision, 14-6, a medical forfeit, and another major decision at 16-8, placing him 3rd. At 184, Malachi Owens doing his thing. He won his first match by pin. Went into the championship match, though, facing off against a guy that he competed against earlier this year. If you don't remember the head-to-head matchup against Oklahoma City, this was the same guy. And the last time he beat him by pin, well, this time around, it didn't go in his favor. He ended up losing to the 23rd ranked wrestler in the nation by decision 9-4. So he ended up placing 2nd. And at 184, Jacob Mills went 3-1. He won by pin, and then lost the next match versus the 23rd ranked wrestler in the nation, also by major decision. Won his next 2 both by pin. He placed 3rd as well. At 197, John Bray, ranked 22nd in the nation, went 2-1. Won his first 2 matches by pin. Lost in the championship match by decision 7-2. Also against a guy that he beat earlier in the year, so that's another tough loss, but he did end up placing 2nd. And then, of course, at 285, Emmett Bivens, 21st in the nation, went 3-0, won all of his matches by pin, and then in the championship match, he won versus the 24th ranked wrestler in the nation. And as you know, he won that by pin. So a dominant run from the guys, and even though we only had 1 champion, we earned a lot of points from the other guys winning their matches and placing well. So, of course, we ended up placing 1st overall as a team, winning our first men's wrestling SAC championship here at Wayland. So props to y'all, man. Props to y'all. Let's go ahead and take this one on into psych. I'm lying. Women's wrestling did not have any matches this last week. They have the SAC tournament this weekend, but they did have new rankings. So let me cover those rankings before we move on. At 103, Mallory Dominguez is ranked 15th in the nation now. She was ranked 13th. At 131, Mercy still ranked 2nd in the nation. At 138, Jordan Suarez moved up to 3rd in the nation. Mahogany Castle at 160 moved up to 14th in the nation. Leilani Sanchez at 207 moved down to 13th in the nation. And Faith Woolley also at 207 moved up to 8th in the nation. So, women's got some big things going on for them as they head into the SAC tournament. Now, finally, let's move on to women's basketball. Women's basketball had a matchup against MACU. And before I keep talking, because I've been talking, because we just been summing up things, I want y'all to take away this one for me so y'all can get into this conversation, man. As you know, I talked about Q1 games.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of those.
It was.
Talk to me about this game that the women's had against MACU.
Man, it was a big time game. Obviously, the loss at College of the Ozarks hurt them, so they probably weren't in the best spirits after that.
Yeah.
Because that pretty much, to my knowledge, blew their chance of hosting first round of the national tournament. But I believe this game was a fight for second.
Yeah.
In the SAC, and MACU put it. I think it went into overtime the first time when they played MACU there, and they pulled the win out. So it was a big time win. Both teams have a lot to play for, and it showed in the game. I mean, both teams.
Neck and neck.
Yeah, it was a back and forth game all game. As many of you know, of course, the men's game was postponed, so it was my first time really being able to sit in the stands and be a part of the crowd and just watch the game, and not have to worry about my game.
Get to be into it, enjoy it.
And man, was it fun! Our girls, they're fun to watch. I think they compete. A lot of every time MACU went on a run, we'd come back with a run of our own. So it was just what a game to watch.
MACU, they really did come out shooting their best.
They did.
They were 7 for 13 from deep in the first half. They were hitting.
Had me a little worried, I ain't gonna lie.
They did.
Yeah. I mean, it was different because not only were they hitting, but it was just like it didn't matter what kind of defense we was putting on them.
Yeah, and the thing is, we were in the zone early. They hit a couple of threes. I thought maybe we should get out of the zone, but then after that, a couple of their threes we were playing good defense. There's nothing you can do about it.
Great defense, just better offense.
Yeah,
Nothing
exactly.
you can do about it except
Exactly.
go and answer back. And I feel like we did that
We did.
a
We
lot of the
did.
time.
We did.
So it's huge props to us, to the Queens for standing on business pretty much.
Yeah.
And really holding it down.
Yeah, especially with the refs holding the whistle a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt like they was letting them go, in which I liked
Ain't nothing wrong
to a
with that.
certain extent.
Ain't nothing wrong with that,
But there was some calls where it's like, okay, you're not calling that.
It's like, come on, man. It would be the same call on the other end, and then they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think Megan. Y'all
She
don't
got
call me
slapped around a
crazy.
little bit.
I'm not in any way, before y'all go crazy, I'm not in any way comparing Megan to LeBron. But this is what I'm gonna say though. Megan's starting to get to that LeBron whistle to where it's almost like she don't get calls just because she's bigger and stronger than the people. But it's a foul. I don't care who it's against. It should be a foul. And she get to that point where teams are fouling and the refs just got tired of calling it, I guess. I don't know what the deal is, but
it's like they're giving the defense cut him some slack.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
bro.
So
she bigger.
And it's like, dog, you can't do that.
Nah.
she had a couple. I mean, it was a blatant foul, and they didn't call it. But what I did love to see as a fan, man, is just the back and forth, the chatter between the
she
MACU
was
girls and our
chatting.
girls. Yeah, they was chatting. I love to see it.
chatting,
They got a little feisty, and I was like, okay, that's fun to watch. And I'll give credit to number 4 on MACU though.
Boy.
First off, we sent you home, so let's put that out there. But I ain't gonna lie. She was talking that talk, and she was walking that walk.
She was putting buckets up.
Definitely.
She was putting buckets up.
Man,
I
she
can't say that.
turned chatting to the whole student section. So I credit to her,
Yeah,
man. She made it fun.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tours.
She shoot some threes, turning, looking at us, and giving her 2 cents on it. So it was fun though. It
was.
That's
Definitely
the
a
beauty
fun
of
game.
basketball, man.
Yeah.
Just as a fan heckling a player and a player scoring and shutting a fan up. So that's what makes basketball such a beautiful thing. But
Speaking of Caitlin, like you said, but we got our own Caitlin.
Yeah,
Caitlin was
we got
carrying the
Caitlin
load.
Jordan.
Yeah, Caitlin
Jordan.
Jordan.
Caitlin
We got Caitlin Jordan. She was carrying the load. I will not lie. She had a really good game. She finished with 26 points and 7 assists. So she was really helping the team get the offense going as she always does. And this was probably her 10th game of 20 points.
Yeah.
Plus, probably even more than that. But what I like you said, that girl was talking, and I feel like she turned something on in Megan at the end because Megan just said, "All right, just give me the ball, give me the ball," because she doing too much. She did. She racked up a lot of points in that fourth quarter. She ended up Megan finishing with 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists. So Megan and Kaylin, the combo all year.
I mean, come on.
They finished it off the
I
way
feel
they
like
needed
they're
to.
starting to peak at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Both of them are feeding off each other very well.
Yeah.
But I will give credit to both of them. They fouled them both at the end, and we went 4 for 4 from the free
And
throw
knocked the
line.
free throws down,
And
yeah.
that ended up being the reason we
huge.
won.
Yeah.
So you want your best players to show up in those moments,
do.
and that's what they did.
And I feel like teams still kind of doubting Megan from the free throw line.
Yeah.
They do, and she knocks them down.
Yeah,
She's
Megan
been
shoot-
knocking them
Megan
down.
shoot
She
free
knocks them
throws.
down. I mean, we won that match,
Yeah.
77-74. So those free throws were very
Yeah,
clutch.
yeah, they were.
They were very clutch.
They were.
She's stepping up in big moments, and like I feel like shooting has been the probably biggest downside
Yeah.
of her game. And from the free throw line, which she gets to
A
very
lot.
consistently
Yeah.
throughout the game, I feel like that's been a big. It's been a good thing to see the growth in
Yeah,
her free
facts.
throw
she's
game.
taking
So
huge
Because
huge
it's-
props to her for that.
It's needed when you're a player like that
Mhm.
because you know they're gonna foul you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you got to be able to.
They're not going to stop
take
her
that
from
out the
scoring.
way, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
going to foul, and
Yeah.
they're going to make sure she don't
Yeah.
finish at the rim.
Exactly.
And so I mean, it's great to see that she's noticed her weaknesses and has really capitalized on making them a strength.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this seeding before we go on to men's basketball. Women's basketball will be the second. They finished second in conference standings, so of course they'll be hosting the first round game here, and we'll get to all of that details later on. But they'll be facing off against John Brown, who they have handled pretty easily throughout the course of the year.
They have.
And you know, I'm always scared of games like that because
It's hard to beat a team 3 times. I don't care
You know what I'm
who-
saying,
who
bro?
line up.
it's like
You underestimate us.
you do,
You do,
you
but-
do,
But
you do.
that being said, I have no doubt that Cooper gonna have.
Yeah.
They're gonna be ready to go.
Yeah.
You have to
know,
approach it like
They'll be
this.
they'll be ready. That's all.
Yeah.
Just to say the least. I think they're not gonna underestimate them. They're gonna treat it with the same like they were playing anybody else. So
Yeah.
they're gonna respect their opponent, and I expect them to be ready by tip off on Thursday.
Absolutely.
One thing I will say though that might be an issue, which I don't know if it's confirmed or not yet, but supposedly Emily hasn't been practicing.
She hasn't. I saw that.
I don't know. I think she tweaked her knee back again
She did.
on Thursday against MacU. I've heard some people say it could be a torn ACL. Some people say it's something that she can continue to play through in rehab and then really kind of deal with it once the season's over with. So I do pray that she's not out for the rest of the season.
It's
Um,
a
Yeah,
senior
because it's
year,
her
right?
senior
it's a
year,
man. So you
It's-
don't want
it's
to
a
see
tough
anybody,
way to go
you don't
out
wanna
like
see
that.
anybody get hurt.
Yeah.
And obviously for the Queens, you
She's
know,
a big piece.
Yeah, I feel like she's the heart and soul of the team as well. So I do hope that she's still okay and that she's able to suit up on Thursday.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's take this one on to men's basketball. Men's basketball, as you know, they had to move that. I don't know if y'all can hear that ringing, but I don't know what that is. Hopefully we ain't finna blow up, but I'm gonna continue on with the show as normal. Men's basketball had a matchup against MacU on Monday. They had their game moved. Dang, that's annoying, ain't it?
It is. We'll just go through, see
We'll
what
go
happens.
through it.
Yeah, let's
We'll
go
go
through
through
it.
it. Men's basketball had the matchup against MacU, and this was for all the marbles, basically at the end of the season. I think winning it solidified for us that we were going to be hosting. Losing it put some things up in the air, and we'll get to that when we get to
Like
that.
out of our control.
Yeah, exactly. In games where we have, I wanted to talk about some of the key things that I felt like we needed to have to win. I felt like I've been through these games, and in the games where we move the ball well, we win. In games where we have 15 or more assists, we're 8-1. So that's a big
Yeah.
thing there. And on top of that, another thing for us is not only when we move the ball well, but another thing that has been big for us this year is if we come out in the second half ready to go. Because we've come out in the second half in past games where we have the lead and we're controlling the lead, and then we lose it and
Yeah.
we start off slow. Exactly. And so I was like, okay,
Take our foot off the
those are
gas
going
a
to be,
little bit.
yeah, I was like, those are going to be two things that we really need to have happen. So, I'm sorry, y'all. I done lost my focus. At MacU, like I said, we went into the first half, and it was a pretty evenly played first half. I can say that because both teams were getting shots off. We did get off a lot more shots than they did. I think we
Had a lot of threes that didn't fall and just were
We did.
great looks,
They were.
amazing looks.
They were
great
good looks.
And it's nothing you can complain about. Like,
You can't.
You can't complain about the shots that we took. I feel like all the shots were great, comfortable, routine shots
For the most part.
that we
Yeah.
typically hit. Just didn't hit the bottom of the net.
They didn't, but the only question I had there was just that how does that change your offense? Because we took 23s and they took 25 shots, And
First half,
so
what are you talking
Yeah,
in the
that's
first half,
first half only. Yeah.
that's first half only. It gets crazier as the game goes on,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, it was tightly played first half. We only went down we went into the half up 4, and we were playing really good defense. We forced a lot of turnovers, and that's as expected. We always play good defense, I feel like.
Yeah.
But the threes, I wonder, like, does that change the way that your offense flows?
I mean, it's like, man, if you're hitting threes, it's very easy
great.
to fall in love with the
Yeah.
three ball, and so I think that's probably what we did because we did hit a
Yeah,
couple
it was
early,
6 to 20,
really early,
yeah.
but then as the half went on, we started falling in love and settling, and so I think
There was a couple
a
possessions.
couple of them, like we had a lot of good shots. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but there were a few possessions where we just settled and
Yeah.
didn't really make them.
No.
We didn't make them have to guard us. We just
Okay.
gave them.
There was one possession where I think we had like 2-3 offensive boards and put
Yeah.
up a 3 every single shot.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah,
Look, it
and
was-
those ones you can live
could-
with those
yeah,
off a
exactly.
board, and
Like-
you can
like,
live with those.
You can
but,
live with them. It
yeah.
was like great ball movement and everything. It's not like it was
Yeah.
a forced shot, off balance shot, nothing like that. It was a great shot attempts.
It
I feel
was.
that.
It
I
just
feel
didn't
that.
fall.
We did come out in the second half, and like you said, when you're hitting them, you love it because we
Yeah.
came out in the second half and we was hitting from deep
We
early. Nico came out and hit,
Yeah,
I
Nico had
think,
a-
2
yeah,
back-to-back threes.
Back-to-back, and then I think he
Uh-huh.
might have hit one more.
He might have hit
Yeah,
another
he
one.
hit third.
So he hit like 3 threes, and then Tuck hit a 3, and then somebody else hit a 3. So it was like 6 straight threes
Yeah.
on every possession.
Had
So
the crowd going,
yeah.
the energy
Yeah.
started getting up, and
And then on top of that, we kept playing defense like we always do,
Uh-huh.
and we looked up on the scoreboard and we was up 14 points.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, cool. Now we're gonna go into the subject of what I talked about, keeping the lead when we have it in the second half, because that has been the thorn in our side all year. Well, Matthew kept shooting the ball. They kept chasing after that lead. They didn't give up, and they were knocking down shots.
They were.
They were knocking down shots, and at the end of the game, they found themselves neck and neck with us again, man. Even after having that 14-point lead, and then in the end, we had an opportunity to ice it. It wasn't just on that one opportunity why it happened. I know it's never on one opportunity,
Never is.
but we had an opportunity to ice it at the end on free throws. We missed it, and then Matthew came down. They hit the game winner. We ended up losing this one 69-68. So it was a tough loss, especially
boy had
the
a
way
janky shot too.
yeah,
Ooh,
and with the
shot.
way they was acting at the end of the game,
Yeah,
it made
that
it
was
feel
rough.
even worse. You know, I just
That's not how you want to go out.
Yeah.
For senior night especially, it's like,
Yeah.
man, we felt we had the game. It was our game to lose, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
A couple missed free throws, a couple defensive miscues. Not to mention they hit 2 threes off the backboard.
Yes,
It's like,
bro.
man, you know, it's you hate to lose, period, but to lose like that,
it's
it just
tough.
hurts even worse
stings.
right in front of you. And to be in on the last play, man. I mean, you're
that
not,
shot.
you just gotta wake up the next day and smile, man. Because I'm not gonna lie, like it tore me up at losing like that
Yeah.
on our home floor, and they went and talked bad to our girls and our students, and so it was a whole thing. But it's like, man, that's basketball.
Yeah.
You know, it happens. I think we're very capable of beating that team. If
For
we see
sure.
them again, of course, I still think we can beat them. But you know,
I wish they
we
was on
didn't
our
execute.
side of the bracket.
I do too.
I wish they were.
But the good news is, of course, I bet we're probably about to get into this
Yep.
anyways, but we got to go home and watch UNT Dallas play John Brown.
Yep.
We needed UNT Dallas to win. Otherwise, we would be on our way to Arkansas right now. So,
Yeah.
as you guys can probably tell, UNT Dallas finally, they won, which gave them a spot in the conference tournament, and then that solidified us as 4th place,
Yeah.
meaning we get one more home game.
I had a big question on that. How did we get the 4th place? Because it was a tie. For those of y'all that don't know,
Yeah.
we ended up tying with John Brown for our record in the conference, and also we split the season with them 1-1. What's the tiebreaker for that?
This hack does it weird. I thought it was just going to be regular point
I thought it
differential,
was
but-
too.
And if it was, of course, we would have had the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Or we ended up with the tiebreaker anyways, but I believe it goes from so let's say we tie for 4th.
Yeah.
You go to the top, Nelson. All right, what'd y'all do to Nelson? We both split. Then you go to 2nd place. Who was it, Langston maybe?
Langston.
All right, what'd y'all do to Langston? We both split. 3rd place. So it went down. It just
Wow.
went down the line of how'd you do against the people
the other
above you and then
teams.
against people below you. And so
Wow, that's
yeah,
really weird.
yeah,
It's
it-
overcomplicated.
it is.
Yeah,
So
man.
It basically makes you like you
Overcomplicated.
can't have those bad losses. Like,
Yeah. Makes sense.
yeah. So it's like our worst loss can't be worse than theirs.
Yeah.
So that, in a sense, that's how it works.
okay.
So it's kind of
Overcomplicated,
confusing,
but
but
it's still working
I
out.
thought
It worked
I'm
out.
fine
Yeah.
with just a little point differential. We beat y'all by this many. Y'all beat us
Yeah.
by this many. We win. But
Yeah.
It didn't come down. I mean, we knew this season it was going to be a close race
Yeah.
until the very end, and literally,
There were
it
two
came
ties
down
at
to
the
the
top
last
5.
game.
Yeah.
It came down to the last minute of the UNT Dallas and John Brown game. So,
Crazy. It's crazy about our conference.
It is,
It is,
man.
man.
It's
a lot,
a
I
cutthroat
feel like.
conference.
it is.
Because you can't have a bad day.
You can't. Yeah, you can't
And that's
afford
rough to say because everybody's gonna have a bad
Yeah.
day.
Like we human.
That's
It's part of
realistic.
being an athlete.
Yeah,
You're gonna
man.
have off games. You're gonna miss shots. You're gonna have nights when you're on.
Yeah.
And nights when you can't even find the bottom of the
Don't
net.
be.
Sure.
But somehow you got to figure out how to get the job done.
Yeah. But where that puts us is at a very interesting conference host because with that tiebreaker, John Brown, of course, goes to 5th, and that means we play John Brown. So the men's and women's team both play John Brown on Thursday night,
The
which
trilogy.
seems like a normal
Yeah, it seems
normal
like a
conference
normal
game,
like,
but it's not.
yeah.
This is not that.
This
This is a conference tournament
Playoff game.
playoff
This
game.
is playoff game.
Yeah,
It's a playoff
so
game. It's
like
postseason.
Winner go
this
home.
is not no regular season trip.
Nope.
They coming down like they normally do, but this ain't the same weight.
Yeah, it's the real
Um,
deal.
So they got some big games coming up, man.
So
and-
basically, we need student section like we had against Langston times 2.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah. We
4 or
need
5.
y'all there, man. This is
They
the
gotta be
biggest-
there.
This is the biggest game of our season, and for our seniors, I mean, this is the biggest game of our career, man. This
Yeah.
could be our last. So,
like let's
last
let's
home game,
redo senior night.
Yeah.
You know, let's go. Let's send the boys home.
it's the real senior
the right
night.
way.
It's
yeah,
our actual last game.
Actual
the boys
last
and girls
game.
playing. So
Yeah.
we just gonna do a senior night.
Yeah.
Redo.
redo, man. But we're gonna take this one on to the next subject, man. The next subject is going to be baseball. Baseball had a series against USAO, and as I've told you guys before, this is an opponent where you can't really take them lightly. I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about this history so you can understand how difficult it is to not only beat USAO but beat USAO at USAO. Our all-time record against USAO is 14-46. Our last 10 matchups were 0-10.
True, man.
Our last win came back in 2022, and our last win at their field came back in 2010.
Wow.
So like, them boys, they have a good program.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
simplest
Solid
way I can
team,
put
yeah,
it.
you gotta
That's the
respect
simplest way I can put it. They have a really good program. They can recruit guys, and they stay competitive each and every year.
Considering the program that we have,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
bring guys in
Right
too,
there.
so it's
Yeah.
not like they're walking over us because most of those matches, they weren't beatdowns. They were close games. Now, of course, every now and then they did put a little thumping on us, but a lot of those games were tight games that we just didn't come out on the right end of. And so going into this series, it was like earn our respect type of deal because
Yeah.
it's just like y'all think y'all can walk over us like y'all been doing all this time, but this year we're gonna try to flip that around. So we went into game one, and like I said, we had new starters for game one, and from last week, and they continue to start this week. So Tate got the start again for game one. He got himself in some trouble early. I can say that he walked a couple of guys, put himself in some tight situations, but he continued to fight and continued to put up zeros on the board. So he was doing his job, even though it didn't look pretty. He was still getting the job done. He had bases loaded in the first inning, but he got the strikeout to end the inning, and it sort of went like that for a couple of more innings. But then for us, like I said, we've been doing it all year. We had 2 out hittings. 2 out hitting. In the first inning, Samuel came up. This was all with 2 outs. He doubled to left field. Then Cooper followed up with an RBI single up the middle to score the first run of the game. Then we had pretty much a quiet game for the rest of the way there. But then at the top of the 4th, we had bases loaded with no outs. This is your opportunity
Yeah.
to open it up. So they walk a guy in, which tied the game at 2. But then we struck out and then hit into a double play. And that was the end of that inning. So we went from threatening to open this one up to
allowing
That's
to
it.
just
that's it.
Yeah.
And it was a 2. Now it's 2-2. They got all the momentum. It doesn't matter if they had bases loaded. They got all the momentum now because they got out of the bases loaded situation. So they go into the next inning. And like I said, Tate was struggling with walks, so he got himself in trouble again. And we had to go to the bullpen. So we went to the bullpen in the bottom of the 4th, still tied at 2. And then in that very next inning, in the bottom of the 5th, USAL opened it up, scoring 5 runs on 5
Wow.
hits to make it 7-2. And that would basically be it for the first game. We ended up losing the first one 7-4. So we had it. We had it
Yeah,
basically the whole way. And then it just came down to the very end of it. I'm going to this next one because it sort of tells the same story. In the top of the 3rd, Felix Oppo Taco home run, drilled one to the right side of the field. we scored the first run again. So attacking first in baseball is always a good thing because a lot of times if you're playing like real deal baseball and it's not like 15 to 10 or something, typically the team that scores first usually wins. I don't know why that
Especially
is.
a team like that.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but that's just how it goes. In the bottom of the fourth, things blew up on us a bit. So bottom of the fourth, that means we only got 3 more innings left.
Yeah.
This is near the end of the game. USAO had some big hits, and they scored 3 runs with 2 outs. So it was 1-0. We had 2 outs. We're thinking, okay, we finna get out this inning still with the lead. And then next thing you know, they just blew up with some offense, scored 3 runs. They had a 2-run home run, and we was down 3-1 out of nowhere. Bottom fifth got worse. Couple base knocks in the air on a bunt play allowed USAO to score 3 more. Now we're down 2-6, and we didn't answer. Ended up losing this one 6-3. And we're going to game 3. Going to game 3, needing a win just to feel good about something. You just need to feel good about something. And once again, who scores first? We do. Early runs, man. Christian. Let me just go ahead and show y'all a couple of these highlights, man, because these boys was hitting. I ain't gonna lie to you. Christian led off with a double here. Smoked one to the left side of the field. And that's a great way to start the game. This was the first AB of the game. So if you're starting off with a double off the wall, that's a statement. Then Cooper comes up, and what does he do? He smokes one to the left side of the field down the line, scores an RBI with a double here again. So back-to-back doubles scoring the first run of the game. And then we found ourselves in another situation. Sinclair steps up to the plate, got runners on first and third. He hits a sac fly to center field, scored another run. So now it's 2-0. We scored first again, like I said. Then we came out in the top of the second. Coop comes up to the plate, hits a 3-run bomb. So now it's 6-0. And this was a 9-pitch AB.
Wow.
9-pitch AB. Then after he hits the home run, then Memo comes up. He hits a double to the left center gap, scores another run. So it's 7-0 in just 2 innings of play.
Man.
7-0 in just 2 innings of play. So just a crazy start from our offense. Coop was working hard. A 9-pitch AB, for those of y'all that don't understand how difficult it is to stay locked in at the plate, 9 pitches, that's a lot of pitches to foul off and watch and get strikes called and just keep working until basically you get the pitch you want. And he didn't miss when he got it. As you can see, he smoked it. So we added some insurance runs at the end, and we ended up winning this one 10-6. So we came out with a win. Polanco did well on the mound, just had 1 rough inning in the 6th inning where USAO hit 2 home runs and they scored 4 runs. But he had 6 strikeouts, only gave up 2 walks. He did his job. He pitched 5 2/3 innings, and he threw 117 pitches. So he was grinding it out, basically. And then we took care of business the rest of the way. Cooper had a great weekend. He hit 500 on the weekend with 5 RBIs and 1 home run. We played clean baseball all weekend. We only had 1 error combined in all 3 games. Pitching did decent.
Impressive.
It is very impressive.
That's
Pitching
impressive.
did decent. They kept the Drovers at bay majority of every single game. It was just every game had that 1 inning where things would just blow up. So we just got to limit the walks. But other than that, baseball, I feel like even though you went 1 and 2 on the weekend, I feel like you had a pretty decent weekend, man. Just that 1 inning or 2 in each one of those games.
I think they learned a lot about themselves because if you notice, as soon as the season started, we'd start off games with a lot of errors and we lose by a lot of points, obviously. And so I think to play a very good opponent, 3 games only have 1 error. It tells you a lot about yourself that you still have a chance to win any game if you cut the errors down. So I think it is a testament to that we can play with anybody if we don't beat ourselves.
Yeah, it
I
is.
agree, and I want to commend like their approach to each game. Came out striking first.
Striking first,
you know,
you got to have that.
against a very good opponent when they could easily, back it off or been intimidated or whatever the case may be. But they did great out, like you said, outside of 1 inning.
Yeah.
Like simple mistakes, just fixing those little errors. I think this baseball team has an amazing future. I think.
They do, and the thing is, that it's like some of those innings were like uncontrollable innings. It wasn't like we had an error here and there. Other than that 1 inning where we did have the error on the bunt play, that sort of blew it up a little bit. But there were a couple of innings there where they just hit the ball. And you can't really stop a team from hitting other than throwing a better pitch. But at the end of the day, you're not always going to throw the perfect pitch every time. It's just not realistic to ask for that. So 1 and 2 on the weekend is not bad, but hopefully we can move forward. I know they got another conference matchup coming up, and we can continue to win, man, because they came off of a sweep against their D2 team at Adams State where they had a really good weekend of ball. So team's playing good ball. 2 losses, it's all right. Keep rolling. Now, let's go on into the next subject, and that is going to be beach volleyball. Beach volleyball had a matchup. They went to feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing something? Did
No.
I skip over something?
No,
else?
no, you
I'm
did.
straight.
No, you
All
did.
right.
Good.
They went to the Javelina Beach Classic. Spelled with a J, but they say it's pronounced with an H. So I guess it's Javelina. I wanted to say Javelina, but that don't even sound right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say Javelina because I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Javelina Beach Classic. And they faced off against some really tough opponents. Like I said, they don't really take the cakewalks.
Yeah,
I
they
feel like
don't.
that's one way to go about it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's-
throw yourself in the fire and see how you come out.
That's what they're doing. That's
Exactly.
What they're doing.
So they went off against Tarleton State, D1 school. They ended up losing 5-0. And then they went into TAMU Kingsville and they lost that one 5-0. And then versus Mary Hardin Baylor, which I think is a D3 school.
Yeah, they're D3.
Correct. Okay. We lost that one 4-1, and then we went into the matchup, a SAC matchup.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see that a lot this year. Had a matchup against Texas Wesleyan. We lost that one 5-0. The only single set that we won, or I guess like grouping that we won, was by Avery Penner and Louisa Valentin. We lost the first set 15-21, won the second one 21-18, and won the last one 15-10. So they got our lone win over the course of that weekend. I don't really know how to talk about it, mainly because I'm reading stats. You can't watch beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't watch beach volleyball because most people don't stream it. And I mean, you can't really control that. I think that's a really hard opportunity to stream unless you got money like that.
Yeah.
Because you got to have cameras outside and they got to have the wireless. You know,
Yeah,
I ain't gonna go into all
it's a
that,
big deal,
but it's a lot. It's a big
it's a
deal.
lot.
It's a lot, and so it's rough.
It is.
To just read the stats and just see that we're not coming out on top, but I mean we're still, of course, we're still competing.
Yeah, and I think
And it's new.
Yeah,
Listen.
we're a brand new program.
Mhm.
I think our girls are still taking a lot. It takes a lot of
Yeah,
time to
it
build
does.
chemistry, especially
It
with
does.
somebody you haven't played before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just two girls out there, so they got to be on point and
different
know
sport.
each other's
Yeah.
strengths and weaknesses. But I was talking to Jordan about this weekend, and she was also telling me that it was like 48 degrees out there, maybe
Was it
less,
really?
and I mean
Wow.
just freezing and like rain, and so and of course we're not. I doubt our girls are used to playing in that.
Nah,
so,
yeah.
so that could have played a factor in it, and maybe other teams have played in harsh weather before. So it's a lot. It's a lot on their plate right now, but I still think that right now it's just about learning how to win and building chemistry, and hopefully later down the line we start to see it show up more on the scoreboard. But for now, I think it's just they got to take that first step of knowing their teammates and learning how to win first.
Yeah, I think it's hard, especially because, like you said, you pointed out the fact that you're with one person for your season, basically, and you have to learn them.
Yeah.
Because it's different when you're on a court with
A team.
A team.
You got
know what I'm saying?
5 other people with you.
5 other people.
And now it's me and it's just me
Me
and
and
you.
somebody
We
else.
gotta make this work.
Yeah.
We all we got to rely on.
Yeah.
Got to figure out it, like you said, strengths and weaknesses, and make this work if we want to find success. And this is still, like we said, very, very new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience. It really is. And it's tough to look at it that way because you don't want to look at it and be like, oh, well, we know we're going to lose. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's a learning experience because it is their first year. And it's everybody's first year playing together with their teammate.
Yeah.
And it's their first year experiencing anything that's happening out on the court or
Exactly.
whatever you want to call it. Because like you said, ain't nobody dealt with no rain and sand.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's mud. you running around in some mud.
Yeah, it's
trying to
freezing
play.
cold
Yeah,
outside.
freezing
Yeah.
cold,
Come
bro.
on.
That's a different experience. And so, depending on how all of that goes, I know that as the year goes on, things are gonna get smoother. Things are gonna get better for them. So hopefully they can move forward and get a couple more wins. They got another matchup this weekend. I guess we can go ahead and hop into that weekend upcoming games. They have another one this weekend at the
Same place.
East Texas Baptist Invite, though.
It is, but they're going back to the exact same place. Is
Oh.
what I've been told.
Okay.
So I guess East Texas Baptist may be hosting it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going right back to Kingsville. So I don't know what the deal is.
That
but-
man got the inside. I appreciate you on that.
yeah, shout out to Jordan. See, keep me updated with the beach
Okay.
volleyball news.
Nice.
So
Nice. Softball is currently playing a series, so we will report on them next week. And golf, both men's and women's, is currently at the Friends Invitational. So like I said, we'll cover that next week as well. We have a lot of coverage next week. Track and field will be hopefully at the NAIA Indoor National Championships in Florida. We'll see who qualified for that, and I'll get back with you guys on that later. Women's basketball and men's basketball, like I said, versus John Brown, women at 6, men at 8. Gotta be there to support that, man. That's
yeah, we need y'all, man.
Yeah,
This is it. This
every
is our season
every
on the line.
game from this point forward is a possible last game.
Yeah.
So be there, support them, push them through, man. Push them through to the next round. I think the host rounds are all going to be at Langston.
Yep.
So that'll be a rough scenery to walk into. So they're going to need a lot of energy going into it.
Facts.
So y'all give it to them. And then I already spoke on beach volleyball this weekend. And then baseball, we have a weekend series at OPSU. I really hope that they go in there and sweep them boys because I expect it from them. And then women's wrestling will finally be at their SAC tournament championships. So hopefully they'll be bringing one back too. And we'll that'll be a powerhouse
two SAC
move.
championships, man.
That'll be a
That's
powerhouse
impressive.
move
Yeah.
right there. That'll be really good for winter sports. I know those y'all might not keep up with it. The Commissioner's Cup, is that what it's called? Something like that. At the end of the year, they rate the best school in sporting all the way around. And so if winter sports can take 2 championships,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I think
You got to mention our name.
that's
We gotta
a
be in the
that's a good
conversation.
little vote for top
Yeah,
3. You know
gotta
what I'm
be in the
saying?
conversation.
And then basketball will continue to do what they do, and hopefully they can come out with some championships as well. That's all we got for y'all this week, man. Next week is gonna be ridiculous.
Next
I
week
think
is
that's like
it's gonna get
12
wicked.
sporting events.
It's gonna get wicked next week, especially if men's and women's are still playing. So, which hopefully,
I know y'all will be, but it's just gonna be like,
It's
dang.
gonna be a lot. Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot. But thank y'all for checking this out, man. I appreciate y'all that work behind the scenes. Y'all know y'all don't see the people that work for us behind the scenes, but love the crew that works for us behind the scenes. They always do what they need to do for us, helping things out, and fixing issues that come up like they did today. So thank y'all for that. We'll see y'all same time next week.